here we are, having a little meeting. It's almost an executive board meeting because Gail's not here. Otherwise, this is your SpeakTV board, and we're talking about what we should be doing as far as the club. One of the things we talked about, just to catch you up, is that we're talking about generating speeches but not getting credit for it. We need to start getting credit for it. So as part of what we were talking about is that there's a proposed agenda that Lucas has. I like it, but I think it should have some modifications. The first thing that happens are roles. Table topics is not on there, but I think that that should be an important part of the Toastmaster experience. So, you know, even if we don't get to a lot of speeches, we should always have table topics.
Definitely.
And that way everyone will get a chance to speak, and that I'm thinking that we should figure out a way to always record table topics.
Yes,
Okay.
and table topics is the bread and butter of most of our speaking in terms of job interviews and sales pitches.
And it could be that we are each responsible to videotape our own self with table topics. So table topics becomes a video selfie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking about, instead of using not only Dave's equipment but just a set camera for SpeakTV, is that if you want your speech recorded, you bring your own stuff so that you start getting acclimated with your own technology so that you can use it outside of Toastmasters, rather than relying on somebody else bringing a camera, setting it up, and videotaping you. You're able to do that all on your own, and you're going to get better at it with time, as Alan was saying earlier, that the more you use it, the better you're going to be at it, so that it's second nature to set up the camera as well as give your speech right afterwards, instead of trying to figure out where the on button is.
It happened.
And just to emphasize what Lucas was talking about, is that you're not going to be an expert on every piece of equipment, but you should have a fairly good idea of how to operate your own stuff.
Exactly.
And as you see more and more different styles of equipment, you're going to also see that there's a lot of things that they have in common, so that if you end up with a piece that you've never actually used before, you might have some idea of how to look for where to turn it on, how to make sure that it's got electrical power, and how to actually start recording, things like that. And so there is some commonalities, and I'm thinking that maybe we should talk 10 to 15 minutes every meeting just on the technical side of it, finding a camera. Maybe somebody who brings in a camera will use that as an example. And that could change from month to month, so that all of our members who have equipment that they own get to know and use and are comfortable using it, to not only record themselves but maybe other people as well, and that we kind of do this round robin with equipment so that we all gain a broader sense of knowledge with the products that we'd be working with. What do you think? Is that a winner?
That's the winner.
I think so. And I also have meeting tips around there, so we'd have one person talking about the style of videos that we're going to be shooting. Like last time it was, that was a LinkedIn video.
LinkedIn.
So we would have had somebody give tips on how to make a LinkedIn video. Then we would have had, then the idea now is to have somebody teach us about some piece of technology so that we all get acclimated with it. And another idea that we just threw out there before we turned the camera on was to record our speeches before we come to SpeakTV, so that we evaluate them by watching them on the television, rather than speaking in front of other people as well. Where you record the video at home, then you bring it in, and then we evaluate you there. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's a good idea, but yeah, it all depends.
And this part of that is, I'm very passionate about that, because it's one thing to watch somebody make a video, but it's another thing to just see it after it's a completed thing. And part of it is going to be that we're only limited by our creativity. There are going to be a lot of cell phone selfies videos, and that's fine. And it could be 5 to 7 minutes on a particular Toastmaster speech, or it could be a specialty speech, or it could be you and your video camera. It could even be you on your laptop, because most laptops have webcams, and absolutely you can shoot a video on that. And if you don't know that, that's part of what the technical portion of every meeting should include. And I would be happy to help with that. And I know that Gail does image consulting, and I think there should be a how you look on camera What colors look good on you? What colors should you stay away from? What patterns, fabrics should you try to use or stay away from? So there's a number of good things, and there's some of our members who are also very good resources and very knowledgeable about specific things that they do where they can contribute as well.
Also, while the shooting yourself at home, bringing it in for us to look at, has obvious benefits, there's still no substitute for speaking in front of people, even on camera. And I know from experience, when you are being taped, there's always someone there. There's the cameraman, there's the gaffer, there's the crew, there are people there, and we know we've seen people on tape when they're shooting, and we see their eyes dart over to the side looking at somebody or thinking someone's looking at them. You say, no, keep it the camera. So there's the part of being self-conscious. And when you're at home by yourself shooting, you're not self-conscious because there's no one around. But if you're out in an auditorium, you're speaking in front of 500 people, and you're being taped, you are very self-conscious of the fact that there are people around you. And getting the practice of speaking and being able to tune out that and be focused on the camera, even though you have all these people around, is something that can only happen through practice with folk actually in the audience.
Going off of what Alan just said, just an idea that popped in my head when you were talking was, when we do the speeches here, when we record speeches here, why don't we just have kind of like mini distractions going on behind the camera to help them get comfortable and confident ignoring it and focusing just on the camera itself? Because like you said, there's always people moving, doing something. There's always something going on behind the camera that we'll never see unless their eyes dart to the side and they actually focus on it. So we can use real world applications and have just, I'm not talking about like something crazy,
Right,
but
right.
just people sitting there maybe moving from chair to chair, doing something
Or
else.
just walking.
Yeah, just walking back and forth.
Or we could do it where we shoot video in the closet. So that it's just so you're doing your thing, and that people, when they see it on television for the first time, it's fresh to them. It's not like they've seen it before as a first-person spectator. I also like that if some people come to the meeting, I would love us to have a technical assignment where, let's say we all start with the Competent Communicator Manual. So maybe for the next meeting, you come with a 3 to 5 minute icebreaker that you show on your phone, and better yet, upload it to the SpeakTV Dropbox. And what we'll do is we'll keep that cleaned off, and then we'll probably move that stuff to our YouTube channel. And not everything's going to be for public consumption, so we'll make it so that you can have video within the group that doesn't necessarily make it out to the internet. But that you could shoot some video that maybe for the first half hour of our meeting, we can watch and evaluate each other's icebreakers. And I think that would be good. I want us to get used to looking at the finished product of video and seeing what's good, seeing what can be improved on, and then using that to learn from and to incorporate into your own speaking, and then later on into your own videotaping as well.
I do like the idea of shooting the video and then bringing it in, just because that's what we're going to be doing on our own anyways. We're going to be shooting the video
Exactly.
on our own, and now we're going to actually have a group of people that know what they're doing, or at least hope we know what they're doing. And
Hey, we're all
evaluating us.
learning, and we're all at different stages.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
all
I
actually,
think that's a great idea.
Kathy Shine mentioned this at the first orientation I went to 4 years ago about being able to get credit for your speech outside of a Toastmasters meeting. And she said that if you were like at your job or at your church, which I've done that where I've preached and got it taped, she said it's a 45-minute, because sometimes you obviously don't have a 45 minutes in a meeting to do a speech, that if you're doing it somewhere, and there are some requirements in the manuals for those types of 40 to 45-minute speeches, you can do it somewhere else, tape it, and bring it in for evaluation. So,
And also, as far as keeping track of stuff, we'd like to have something either electronic, which is always present at the group, or we can make a big poster chart and just kind of help everyone's progress. So Also, when we need a grammarian, we can see right on the chart who's already got it or who needs it for what project, so that we can satisfy those requirements. Because I think Kathy Shine was right. We should be getting credit for the things that we're doing anyway.
Yeah.
And with just a very slight change of how we're doing it and just being slightly or more organized, it'll be a lot more effective.
Right, right.
So, anything else you want to say to the rest of the Speak TV crew at this moment in time?
See you at the next meeting.
Looking forward to it. We would like you to come with an icebreaker on your phone. And if you can get your phone to connect with Dropbox, there is a Speak TV Dropbox. We would like you to put it on the Speak TV Dropbox. That way we can play it to a television through my laptop. So again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just shoot the video, start out with your camera, your cell phone, turn on your camera, and you're gonna see a slide switch, doesn't matter whether it's an Apple or an Android, it's gonna be a slide switch, move it from the camera to the video or the movie camera. And then when you hit the red button, you will be recording. If you've got a tripod, great. You want to put it on a stand, great. I would recommend that you use the camera where you can see yourself so that you always give yourself visual clues to stay in the frame. There's nothing more distracting than seeing a video where somebody's out of the frame and they're still talking, so that can be difficult. Anyway, do an icebreaker, 3 to 5 minutes, nothing fancy. They're all going to be ugly babies, so don't worry about it. They're all going to suck at first, but the more we do this, the better and better we'll get at it. So shoot your icebreaker, bring it in, 3 to 5 minutes about yourself. Let's have some fun with this, and then let's learn as well.
Right on.
So this is David Kokel.
Alan Edge.
Lucas Roback.
And we're signing off for now. We'll see you at the next Speak TV.
Speak TV, the place to be.